Hello everyone, welcome back to Analysistrends. I hope you are already watching the chapter 1 and chapter 2 of BA Roadmap Handbook. If you're not, please go back to the videos of this BA Roadmap Handbook Learn Along series. You can also read the book online on analysistrends.com and you will able to see that this book is already been defined there. Now we are covering the chapter number 3 about transferable skills, gap analysis and domain fit for you to become a business analyst. Now, in this chapter, you're already very close towards understanding of BA skills. Now, what you already bring is transferable skills, gap analysis, and domain fit. What you exactly do, and will try to explain you in a storytelling way, is you sit in the front of a job description again when you're applying for a job. It says looking for a business analyst with 3+ years experience in the banking domain, strong stakeholder management, and process modeling skills. You pause. You have worked in the operation or customer support or admin or teaching, but not in a BA role. You feel that familiar drop in confidence, which is true, that whispers in your head, I haven't done this. But then another thought surfaces, maybe not in the title, right? But I have done some of this work in disguise. You open an old project from your previous job, you realize you once restructured how your team responded to customer email. You've helped a vendor team to improve response time by mapping their steps. You introduced a new report format that saved 3 hours a week. You meditated between departments who did not understand each other needs. So the last one is a conflict resolution or making a clarity in the communication, a reporting format, which is nothing but documenting it, improving response time by mapping the steps. You have created a state maps diagram or helped them with a flow, and you responded over the email, which is again maintaining a verbal communication or non-verbal communication. You weren't called a business analyst at that point of time, but you were already doing the work, right? You just didn't name it in that way, but you are already doing those tasks. You sit with a fresh page. You can do it now as well. Draw two columns. Left, ask the job. So what are the jobs you have expected? What are the jobs were asked? And right side, what I have done the similar task. So you call it your first gap analysis, and this is a technique a BA does in order to find out the gap between the current state versus the future state. The current state or the future state expectation is a BA expectation required to be a BA in the job, whereas what you have done actually is a current state. That is, you know these skills today. By mapping this to, you will able to do your gap analysis and find the gap, that where are you lacking. Now let's do this activity together. BA expectations in the left and what you have actually done in the right. Elicitation requirement, that means requirement gathering. Asking question to clarify team needs, that is nothing but a part of a requirement gathering. You have asked the question to the team in order to clarify the needs. That means you have already done elicitation. Facilitating discussion, that means taking a step, initiating the discussion, that is hosting calls between departments. You have already done it. You have initiated the meetings, you have initiated the calls between the departments. That is nothing but you also did facilitated discussions. Creating process diagrams, sketched a workflow in Excel or whiteboard. Same, you created some other whiteboard or Excel workflows that actually help the process, which is nothing but creating process diagram. Handling stakeholders, dealt with vendors, clients, internal leads. You actually made a clear statement between the conflicts, and that is nothing but you're handling your stakeholders. And domain knowledge, you have no direct experience but a strong understanding in billing and data operation, which is nothing but your domain knowledge. A lot of people also ask me what is domain knowledge. Basically, domain knowledge is nothing but in a business you're working as a BA, what a business does for the customers. If you understand the whole customer journey, why do the customer come to you, and the whole customer journey, that is nothing but your domain knowledge. Let's say for a Zomato domain knowledge is nothing but delivering food to the customers at the customer point of view. So their whole business is to deliver food from restaurant through a delivery boy at customer's doorstep. So customer journey start with logging in, going onto the app, searching for the food, what you can say, purchasing the food, placing the order, then waiting for the delivery, and once the food is delivered, happily rating and feedbacking to the app. So this is the whole business domain knowledge of Zomato from a customer point of view. There are multiple areas as well we need to think of. Like a restaurant will have their own interface. The other world, which is like a delivery boy, will have their own interface. The whole connection through APIs that comes with a business that covering all the areas is your domain knowledge. So you look at the right column and exhale. You are not empty. You are just unlabeled. You begin to research domain, healthcare, retail, BFSI, tech startup, and you realize that you don't need to be an expert in every domain. You need to find one where your existing experience give you leverage. You write a note to yourself. I have worked in a support and compliance that give me edge in regulated domains. Maybe I start with fintech or operations heavy environments. You don't chase every BA opening. You align with your profile. That is something that you already have worked in some domain. You try to apply it in the same BA domain. That is very, very, very good step. You align your profile where you have experience already add values. That that's when you start feeling that yes, you are doing a right job and you actually applying to the right domain. So what you've practiced in this chapter is you reframed your past experience as a toolkit. You have performed a gap analysis to identify what is missing and what's already there. You stopped chasing titles, start aligning fit. You treated your journey like a product with strengths, gap, and direction. You represented the invisible work you have already done. The key takeaway from this chapter is the most powerful BA skill often comes from the roles no one associated business analysis until someone connects the dot. So you need to basically understand that whatever you are already doing, out of what is being connected to the BA role. And that's where you will able to realize that how much you already know as a BA. The real life trigger is when you feel like an outsider reading a job description. Have I done ever part of this work before? Even if it is under a different title. Ask this question. That's the start of recognition of your transferable value. So try this. Take any job description of a BA role, highlight every task or skill that you have done in some form. Doesn't matter that you have done in the BA role, it matters that you have done that in any form it might be. Then mark that you have done. Now ask your and mark that you haven't done basically. Now ask yourself which of these gaps are technical, which are learnable in 1 to 3 months, and which align naturally which domain I would have worked in. So whatever you don't know, try to understand them, read them, and you will be able to close the gap. Now you have your personal roadmap, not just to apply, but to belong. So this is all about chapter number 3, about transferable gap analysis skills that you need to understand as a BA and practically imply on your life before you apply for a BA role so that you connect all your dots. So thanks for watching and stay connected in order to watch all the videos under the series of BA Roadmap Handbook. Thanks.